What's going on, guys, and welcome to June's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about them like a book club. My name's Seth, and joining me today on my left, your right, is Chevy. Chevy, hopefully you're doing well during this heat wave we're experiencing in the Pacific Northwest. It's a little spicy. It's 90 degrees.
I will take ours over what the southeast of the country got earlier or is still experiencing. So
True. And I only throw out 90 degrees because I know there's people who are already thinking, bro, it's like 167 degrees where I live right now. You don't even know what hot is. So just kind of throwing it out there, let you know where we're at. But for us, it's pretty spicy.
yeah, and I think for context, a week ago it was 65.
Yeah, we barely had a spring. It was like winter, little blips of some sun, and then all of a sudden it's like 90 degrees. Yeah. So we're not prepared for this. But enough about weather in Washington. We got games to talk about. So in June, we played God of War, Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, and Naruto 2 Boruto Shinobi Striker. Before we talk about those games, though, we don't know for sure the games for July yet, but apparently they've been leaked. So let's take a look. Every month, but they've been accurate the last 2 months. So
Fair.
The leaks for July apparently are Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time for PS4 and PS5, The Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan, on PS4, and Arcadegeddon? How do you say that? Arcadegeddon. For PS4 and PS5. I looked into what Arcadegeddon, it's going to be so hard to say that over and over and over again. I looked...
Arcadegeddon.
Arcadegeddon. I looked it up in case people don't know what this is, because I've never even heard of it. It is apparently a third-person looter shooter with PvP in it as well. It's made by Ilphonic. If you don't remember who Ilphonic is, they're the people who made Friday the 13th, which is actually popping off again right now because of Chad and his stupid dance. Predator Hunting Grounds. Mm-hmm. Another failed game.
So they have a weird track record. Okay.
They have a track record of making failed games, which is wild. But the amount of times I'm seeing fucking Friday the 13th popping up recently is crazy. People are like really into that game again.
Well, I mean, people like B movies, so.
Yeah, well, the whole Chad meme where he's fucking dancing while cracking Jason is pretty funny. So I think people are just buying it based off that alone.
Interesting. I haven't seen that, so.
You haven't? Mm-mm. It's just like a bunch of dudes. There's like this little blonde kid, and he's wearing like a leopard Speedo. That's how everybody dresses. Okay. And they'll go and beat the fuck out of Jason, and when he like falls down, they'll start doing this stupid fucking dance.
Interesting.
It's ridiculous. Once you see it, you're gonna not see it. Yeah. So what do you think about these games?
I mean, I got no love for Man of Medan or that entire series in general, but those aren't my types of games. So
what we should do, I'll propose this so we can all knock it out at once. We should do the movie night mode where we just pass the controller and we can just knock it out. Perfect. Because I've already played this game. I really don't want to play it again, but this might be a spoiler. But anyway.
And then the Arcadegeddon, I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to be going in completely blind on that one. If it's true, obviously. And then Crash Bandicoot's kind of neat because, like, I haven't really played Crash since, like, honestly, PlayStation 1. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it's good reason to check out where it is now. So,
yeah. Anything else?
Not really.
No. Crash Bandicoot 4 I've already played, so it'll be fun to review that. I've also already played Man of Medan. I've beaten that game. I have the whole game streamed and up right now on YouTube. If you like to watch when I originally played it, go check that out. So I'll have a lot to say about this when we review it. And then the one I'm most curious about is Arcadegeddon. I'm going to say that because there's a good chance it's not going to be good, but what I saw from it looked pretty interesting. So this one's kind of a wild card, and this one has me the most interested because I don't know what I'm getting into. So we will see. Yeah, that's all I got, though. So let us know in the comments what do you guys think about these 3 games. Are you excited to play Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, The Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan, and Arcade-ageddon? If you say that differently, let me know as well. And do you think these are real? Do you think it's going to be something else? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to that. Yeah, so let's jump into the games we played this month. And those, again, were Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, Naruto 2, Boruto, Shinobi Striker, and God of War. I feel like we should probably start with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Okay.
If you didn't get a chance to play this, it is essentially Smash Bros. It is a 2D perspective platform brawler, but in the Nickelodeon universe, if there is that. You can play as certain characters like Cat Dog, Reptar, other ones, SpongeBob. There's a bunch of them. And every map you're on platforms. Sometimes they're moving, sometimes they're not. And you're hitting each other. Your percentages are going up until you hit them, and then they go flying off the screen. Exactly like Smash Bros. This game is literally Smash Bros. So if you know what that is, you know what this is. And yeah, it features a arcade mode where you can just fight against AI enemies. But the game's definitely meant for online or local multiplayer. That's definitely where it's meant to be played. We both played it, and I'll start. So, admittedly, I am not the hugest Smash Bros. Fan. I do like it, but I don't love it. And so going into this, I was kind of curious. I'm always kind of curious to see other games try and take a crack at this genre, because I think it's kind of amazing that Smash Bros. Formula is so unique and good for a lot of people, and other people just can't seem to either make something exactly like it as good or grow from that genre. It's really weird how it hasn't really evolved a whole lot. And so with that, anytime I see a game like this, I'm always curious about it. There's PlayStation All-Stars. There's that, I think, is it WB?
That's coming out Metaverses.
Metaverses, yeah. And then Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I think there's been a couple other games.
Brawlhalla.
And it's always really interesting to see what other people do with this and how it will be received. So I got to be honest when I say that this is probably the worst one of this kind of game I've played. It's fairly bare bones. The graphics, I think, are very minimal and not in a good way. I feel like they kind of threw it together pretty quickly. And yeah, it has identifiable characters. If you grew up watching Nickelodeon, there's some characters I don't even know. So apparently I'm out of the loop on some of them, but a lot of them here this kind of shows off my age. I played as Powdered Toast Man, I played as Reptar, and I played as somebody else, one of the older Nickelodeon characters. So that was more my Nickelodeon experience growing up. Yeah. So anyway, it's got a big roster of Nickelodeon characters, though, so I'll give it that. That's cool. Cool to see all their different kinds of moves. But there's nothing that interesting about their move sets when I tried the different characters. They didn't seem that different. And so that wasn't that exciting. Stages are what you would expect from a game like this. They're not bad. They're not good. They just kind of like look the part, and that's about it. So that didn't really do much for me. Game modes, I played against AI mostly, just to kind of get a gist of the game. And it's exactly what you expect. It just feels like a lesser experience. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't play that great. If there's items, I wasn't seeing them. So maybe there's a mode that I should have played for that. Yeah, I tried online a couple times, and it only ever put me up against one person, so this might just be a 1v1 game. I'm not sure. I thought it was supposed to be like a brawl game with more characters, but I can only ever play against one other person. So if there's a mode that I was skipping, let me know in the comments. And yeah, playing against people, it took longer than I feel like it should have to find people. So I feel like this game's probably dead other than the PlayStation Plus players they're checking out right now. And yeah, it took a little bit to get into a match. When I got into a match,
servers.
that could be that's the whole thing. Is this game feels kind of like throwaway. It feels like Nickelodeon, whoever is in charge, was like, hey, let's make a video game. Let's make a brawler. Just throw all the characters in there, and they didn't care enough about it. Because it just feels so minimal. Even the menus are so like basic. The modes are basic. the DNA it's trying to take from Smash Bros. It doesn't. It's not of the same quality or care. They don't care about it as much. So I don't know. It just feels like a cheap money grab from like kids who are going to recognize like, oh, I love SpongeBob, oh, I love this character, whatever, blah 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 blah. And then like an older guy like me who knows some of these characters, it's not doing anything for me. I'm like, wow, that's probably gonna be a throwaway game. And I played. I'm like, it's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. So anyway, that's about it. This game's not very deep. Doesn't have a lot to offer. I played it more than I feel like I should have. I played it the first time for like 2 hours, and then I needed footage. I forgot to get footage, so I went back and played for a while to get footage. I didn't get that much footage because I kind of forgot what the fuck I was doing. But because I was just like so bored playing it. I was just like, I don't even know what the fuck. Why am I even playing this game? So yeah, it's uninstalled. Anyway, that's my impressions. I can't really think of much more to say on it.
Yeah,
wasn't that impressed.
Yeah. Honestly, mine's pretty mirrored to yours. I think the game, for what it does have in it, was like completed. They polished it at least. So I give them credit for that. But it is very bare bones, like you said. It has the bare minimum features it needs to be a Smash-like game, and that's it. I mean, it plays like this is going to be a continuing thing here. It plays fine. It looks fine. It like everything it does is just kind of like it's fine. I also think
and functions.
Yeah, it functions. I do also think it's important to note as well. I do not like Smash likes at all. It's not my genre. I like traditional fighting games more. I do appreciate Smash Bros. Specifically, but I don't enjoy playing it at all. So that carried on to playing this because it's very familiar feeling when I was playing it. I played a few rounds with some older characters that I was familiar with. Ren and Stimpy was kind of an instant go-to for me. And then for the sake of just seeing how the game would play out with a bunch of people, I just let 4 AIs fight each other a little bit, and I watched a couple rounds as well just to see how that went, with the difficulty cranked all the way up to see how nuts maybe it could get. I didn't do any online because I had no interest to be quite honest. So I can't comment on the actual PvP or any balance or anything like that. But the overall experience was just like, it was okay. It was pretty much exactly what I expected it to be with zero surprises.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. There's nothing about it that was like, oh, okay, that's a thing. Like it had like less than I expected from it.
Yeah. And to be clear, that's not necessarily a complaint either. I just I literally can't generate any excitement over this just because of my lack of interest, and then the lack of them providing anything that maybe I could be interested in. Like a good example of this would be when I watch footage of metaverses. As much as I don't like Smash likes, I kind of like keep eyeballing them. Like they're doing something over here that's kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, there's a quality to it that that seems to exceed this game at the least.
So yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, that was easy. Let's jump into recommendations. I think the easy one is, what are you saying, Smash likes?
That's what I said. Yeah.
I've never even heard that before. It works though. I would recommend it to anybody who likes these kind of games. If you've played so much Smash Bros. That you want to play something else, I don't think that person exists, but if you are one of those people, I would recommend this, but maybe check out the other games before it. PlayStation All-Stars was okay, but you'd have to get a PS3 for that. I think that came out on PS3. I don't remember. It's an old game. I can't believe they didn't make a second one of that. Or wait for metaverses, I guess. But yeah, I think this is probably one of your only options outside of Brawlhalla. So check this out. If you're somebody who's a fan of Nickelodeon properties and you don't have enough options and you're just looking for something, maybe you're that into this, check it out, I guess. If you want to play a game as Nigel Thornberry, this might be a game for you. Other than that, I don't really know who to recommend this to. Like, it is like of a very specific genre, and if you're into that genre, is the only way you're probably going to enjoy this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a PlayStation and not a Nintendo, like this is a Smash-like option for you to actually play.
That's a good point though. Like, yeah, if you don't have a Switch or whatever, and you want to play games like fucking Smash Bros, this is probably one of your only options, and I guess you got to take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad game. It's
Yeah.
just it came out when something does what it does better, which is, kind of shows that they didn't really put a lot of effort into it. So it's like you had said before. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just the other addition I could even add. Otherwise, I think you got all the recommendations out.
All right, well, let's just jump into grades then. Go ahead and grade it.
I'm gonna give it a C because this literally, like I said before, it doesn't exceed, it doesn't fail, it just does. So
Yeah.
C.
That's pretty fair. I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to go C minus. I do think it's a competent game, but I do feel like it feels lazy in a lot of ways. I feel like the game could be slightly better, and I feel like they just didn't care to make it slightly better. I feel like this game was just kind of made to make money real quick. So, yeah, I just did not like the experience of it in every way. So C minus. I can't go D because it doesn't really fail in any way. It's just it just could be better. It could be better. Felt shameless. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan of it? If you liked it, what did you like about it? If you didn't like it, what didn't you like about it? What was your favorite characters to play in this? What are your favorite modes? As I said, I only explored like 2 or 3 of them. So out of the 6 that they got, I don't know what they got. Yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. All right, second game we played this month is Naruto Boruto Shinobi Striker. If you didn't get a chance to play that, it is a third-person hub-based multiplayer action game where you are able to go do PvE missions with friends or by yourself, or do PvP matches with friends or by yourself. You create your own ninja. I don't know what they're called, shinobi, in Naruto's universe. It has pretty much all the pieces from all the characters from the show to make your character, hairstyles, eyes, all that kind of stuff. Shout out to my character. I made him ridiculous looking, and his name is... oh, no. I forgot his name. It's fucking something Poppy Clop. I don't remember. It's a crazy name. Baba Demo Poppyclop? I think that's his name. Anyway, shout out to him. He's ridiculous looking. And yeah, you play this game, you do the missions, you do online versus stuff, and you accrue scrolls of different rarities. Those scrolls can be opened to unlock cosmetic items, weapons of different qualities, and moves and stuff like that. And then you can pick a shinobi trainer, I forget what they're called, but essentially you pick one of the characters from the show to be your trainer or your master or whatever. And as you play the game, you fill up their bar and level up through them, and you unlock character specific cosmetics and abilities. So that gives you the ability to kind of go through every character and unlock their stuff. It's also got a lot of emotes that you can do while you're in the lobby, and I appreciate that because it kind of reminded me of Phantasy Star or not Universe, fucking Online back in the day.
Yeah,
because
there's
there's just people running around the fucking lobby doing a bunch of dumb shit. We both played it, and let's jump into your impressions first of Naruto Boruto Shinobi Striker.
All right, transparency time part 2. I don't like Naruto, so subject matter not my thing. I also don't like brawlers, so. Which is how this game pretty much plays. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, feature-wise, I'm going to give this game a shit ton of credit. It has a lot of customization stuff. It has a lot of different things to do. It has co-op. It has PvP. It has a hub you can hang out in. I think it is a really great idea for a game that's based off a property to have this like social experience for people who are also into that thing. And even though I'm not necessarily into it, I like that you can go in there, you can hang out with other people who are obviously interested in the same thing as you. You can check out each other's cosmetics. You can pick whatever schools you want in your moves, because you can just like load all that stuff in. They literally want you to just you could tell they wanted you to be part of that universe when they made this game, and I have to give them credit for that. As much as I don't enjoy playing this game, to just kind of throw that out there, I do think what they're doing with the game is great for people who are fans of it. So I would love to see something like this in a property maybe I enjoy more. I'd probably have more drive to want to play it, or even maybe be into a genre I'm not into, if the IP was more my thing. But that being said, like you said, you know, being able to go up and get cosmetics through a reputation grind with one person, and then, like, you know, move over to someone else, emotes to be able to hang out and stuff like that, being able to queue up for a mission, whether that's like, you know, go beat up such and such, or go collect these items, or protect this guy, or whatever. I think it's a great idea. I wish I was into it, because it does seem like, I just looked at it, I was like, there's a lot of fun to be had here if I liked this. And so I do want to give them credit.
If only it was a different brand.
But yeah, I'm not fond of the brand, and I'm not fond of the actual gameplay once you get into combat and stuff. I think it feels floaty, I guess is a good way to word it. Also, just, you know, I'm not really into, like, at the point in which you're hitting all this stuff, I'd rather just play something as brain dead as maybe like a Dynasty Warriors game instead.
It does feel like Dynasty Warriors sometimes.
Yeah.
There's missions where there's gates, and waves of enemies just run at them trying to destroy them, and you have to, like, fight them, and a lot of times you're just, like, mashing buttons through the crowd.
Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, like, I don't have any issue with, like, what they made. It's just not my style of gameplay. I actually didn't think it played fine. So overall, I have a good impression of the game. It just unfortunately has two major components which would prevent me from ever touching it again. So
fair. Transparency time for me this time. I don't care about Naruto. I got no love for it at all. Doesn't mean I dislike it, but I'm just not into it. So when I heard that we were getting a Naruto game, I was just like, all right, well, this would be interesting to find out what kind of game this is. And I was surprised that it's actually a really cool idea for a game. As soon as I started playing it, I was like, wait, I get to make my own character. I made my own character. He's ridiculous. His name's Baba Bimo Poppyclop. I just remembered it completely. Sometimes in a game, if I make a ridiculous character, I'll start just putting things together, just like sounds. I'm like, there's a name. So that's his name. Made the character, went out to the hub, and I was like, oh shit, there's all sorts of people, and they all look different and all this stuff. I'm like, this is kind of neat. And then I started doing PvE missions. It's like, you can do these with friends. I'm like, wait, this is like a co-op game where I can unlock abilities, weapons, and cosmetics and shit with friends in PvE and PvP. That's fucking awesome. I mean, like, I'm not going to compare this to Monster Hunter, but it's got kind of a Monster Hunter vibe in the sense of, like, you go to a hub, you get set up, and then you go do missions. It's kind of neat. I played it quite a bit. I got to level 20-something. So, you know, played it for a couple hours, more than a couple hours. And I had fun with it. The big things I like about it, I like the multiplayer aspect. I like that you can do PvP and PvE, and they both work fine. I tried both. I like the customization. I like that you unlock more customization stuff later. So whatever your character looks like now, you can look completely different later as you play the game. I like, as you said, the reputation grind of each of the characters from the show. I thought that was really neat. A lot of them you have to buy, which is smart on their part. They're all like $3 a pop. So I'm like, this is where they get you. Like, you get into this game, you want all these fucking characters and their shit to unlock. This is like genius on their part. Because I almost thought about it, but I was like, I don't even like Naruto. I don't want these fucking characters, but I want what they offer. I think one of my only big complaints about it is every time you want to access like the store or the scroll section, you have to go and talk to a person. They say something to you, then it brings you to a thing. It's like, do you want to enter this? And I'm like, yes. And then you got to wait a second. It becomes tedious in between missions to keep doing that over and over and over again. It'd be nice just walk up, hit a button, and then just have all the shit accessible. So when you're opening up scrolls nonstop, I like to let them build up because I don't want to open them up in this way every single time over and over and over again. So yeah, it's probably one of my only big complaints. But the scroll system's cool. I mean, they're essentially loot boxes, so it's not that cool. But I'm not buying them, and they give them to you plenty. Like, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, and then there's like random weapons and different ways to fight, different abilities you unlock, which is really cool. So yeah, I liked all that. The PvE is fun. I played with randos. I played with myself. And the missions do vary. There's actually like quite a bit of boss fights, which is kind of neat. Like you fight like a big frog and another big frog guy who's different looking, and they all got different abilities and shit. And there's like a narrative happening, but I don't know anything about Naruto, so there's like all hanging out and I guess training or something. I don't know. It's samurai look weird in Naruto, but everything looks weird in Naruto. What's up with Naruto? Why is everything like tactical but ninja looking? Such a weird aesthetic.
I couldn't even answer that.
Anyway, not to offend anyone who's a fan of Naruto. I know there's a lot of you guys. I just every time I look at it, I'm like, what's up with the fashion, dude? Yeah, so the PvE is cool. I enjoyed that. Another slight complaint is, as much as I think the combat is interesting, and I love mobility in games, so the ability to be able to double jump, use a grappling hook, run on walls, all that kind of stuff, I love all that shit. The combat feels a little sloppy, but it's trying to allow you to do a lot of things, so I get where it's coming from, and I appreciate the effort. But sometimes when I'm fighting, I do feel like I'm just hoping for the best as I'm hitting the buttons. I know what they do, and I'm like locking on to people, and there's a bunch of people flying around and shit and jumping around. I'm just like, okay, hopefully I hit the guy. So yeah, that could be a little tighter, but I won't dock at points for it. It's just an observation. PvP is fun. It's got some pretty basic modes you would have in any kind of game. One of the ones I played is like there's 3 circles on the map you got to capture, so pretty much Battlefield on a small scale, but you got a bunch of people running around. It's 4v4, I think, running up buildings and jumping around doing that stuff. I had fun with it. I fucking kicked people's ass, so that was cool. And that was fun. That was cool. And you get the same kind of rewards from PvE and PvP, so you can really play this game how you want. There is little snippets of story. You'll run into NPCs that are hiding in bushes and shit for some reason, and they're like, hey, this thing's happening, you should go do this, and it'll tell you to go do a specific PvE mission, and you do that and come back, get rewarded, and then another guy will show up behind some bushes and like, hey, this thing's happening. I'm like, okay, I've recognized some of you guys.
Do my quest.
That dorky dude with the bowl cut and the fucking huge eyes. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty cool gameplay loop. The only conflict is like it's of a brand of anime that I have no love for and not a whole lot of interest in. So, but like gameplay wise, it's a cool idea, and I'm surprised not more people have done things like this. And not what I was expecting. I thought this was gonna be a fighting game for some reason. So
I think, and I could be wrong, it's been a while since I played it, but I think Xenoverse technically is very similar to Dragon Ball Z.
Isn't that a fighting game?
Yep.
Huh. Because this, like, with all the PvE missions and shit, it's not quite the same as a fighting game.
Well, I don't think it's like a traditional fighter.
Huh.
It's been, like I said, I could be completely wrong on the name,
it.
but I think it's more of a like you can fly around in a 3D space and fight each other game.
Yeah, I just like the ability to do PvE and PvP. It feels like a good like suite of content. So anyway, I enjoyed this game. I think I'm gonna keep it installed for a little bit. I'm not like in love with it, but I'm a sucker for multiplayer games, and I'm a sucker for unlocking things that change gameplay. I like cosmetics, but that's just an extra for me. That this game offers like different weapons and abilities to unlock stuff like that. I think it's really cool. So I liked this game like way more than I thought I was gonna like it. So pretty cool.
Right on.
Anything else you got to say on impressions?
Not really. I think I said everything I wanted to.
All right, let's jump into recommendations. I think if you're a Naruto fan, I can't talk today. Fucking Jesus Christ. If you're a Naruto fan, you should check this game out because I think it's a cool game, and I don't even care about Naruto. So I can only imagine if I wasn't in Naruto, how much I think I enjoyed this game. If you like PvE, cooperative PvE brawling content, I would recommend this to you. But also, if you like PvP co-op brawling content, I would recommend this game. So that's 2 different people. Like if you're into either of those or both of those like me, I would definitely check this out because it is just you and a bunch of people running and punching and doing a bunch of moves to either NPCs or real people, and both are completely competent. So you'll have fun here. If you're somebody who, if for some reason likes loot boxes, if you like the element of getting things and unpackaging them and finding out what you got, you might dig this. If you like customization in your games, especially on the anime variety, you might dig this game because there's quite a bit in the beginning and you unlock more as you go. if you like social online games where you like hanging out in hubs and doing emotes to each other, I know it sounds kind of weird and specific, but there's a couple games I've done this that I've always enjoyed that aspect of it. This game is like that, which is really weird. I didn't expect that. There's a lot of people just hanging out in the lobby, just
Social features are so important, and they've disappeared from so many games. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, a lot of people just like hanging out, talking and stuff, and I miss that in games. So I appreciated that about this game. I don't know, get anything?
Not really. I think you pretty much got it.
All right. You did your impressions first, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna grade this a soft B plus. I was gonna go with B, but I think it's got a lot of really good ideas. I had a lot of fun with it. It has some sloppiness to it, but overall, I am stoked that the game even exists. That someone thought up this variety of things to do in a game. I mean, if this game was like some brand I was really into, I would probably be much more confident in that B plus. But I still feel that B plus. I think it exceeded my expectations quite a bit, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I plan on playing it more. I just don't love it, but I think it's a cool game. It's a fun game, and that's what games should be. So B plus.
That last statement, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I at the beginning, I already kind of said my stance on the type of game it is and the IP it is, and even besides that, I would give it a B. It is as a video game, a cool idea and a good video game, I think, and I think you kind of nailed it with the fun thing. I think it offers the right amount of fan service for fans. I think it offers enough gameplay features to be a video game, and it offers multiplayer in both a competitive and cooperative sense. I really have almost no complaints about the game itself. So I do think they could do more because it does feel, how do I word this? Not as developed as it could be, but otherwise, yeah, it's fine. So
Yeah, the only reason I overlook some of the maybe sloppier elements of the game is because of the amount of stuff they put into the game.
For sure.
I'm glad they did that, but I also agree. Like, it feels like it could be better developed, but I'm just glad that it is what it is already. Like, I feel like they nailed it. And the whole fun factor thing, I feel like they're like, all right, so we got to make a Naruto game, and what are we gonna do? Well, let's just make a fun game. Okay, let's do that. And that was and I'm sure everybody's thinking that, but some people you can tell are going for like immersion. They're going for like, oh, this is going to be cerebral and really fuck with people's minds and shit, whatever we're working on. But this game, we're like, let's just make a fun fucking game. That's fun shit. And you play, you're like, okay, yeah, it's fun. Cool. Doesn't have to be in Naruto. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. And I thought, honestly, the way that they have their, the masters or whatever, I don't know what the fuck they're called, in Naruto as ways to progress, I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah.
It's a good way to incorporate characters that people know and love.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and character customization is huge. So
true. Yep, checks a lot of the boxes. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Naruto 2 Boruto Shinobi Striker. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you a Naruto fan? Did I offend you? I apologize if I did about anything I said about Naruto.
I don't deal with it.
And what'd you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Did you do the PvP? Did you do the PvE? Did you play with people? Did you not play with people? And if you didn't play it, let me know why you didn't want to play it. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Last game we played this month is the big game of the month, which is God of War. If you didn't get a chance to play God of War, I will, even though the game came out in 2018, try to avoid story elements because I think people should experience this themselves. But God of War is the most recent part of the God of War saga, where you play as Kratos, and in this iteration, you're bearded. You're in a more Norse mythology centered story and environment. You hang out with your boy Atreus, and
it's your boy Atreus.
It's your boy Atreus. Boy. 2018 was the year of the boy, dude, because fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, boy, and then fucking Kratos, boy. So weird. Such a weird thing. Yeah, it is a third-person action game with skills that you can level up. You fucking rip and tear Doom style through enemies using a bunch of brutal moves. You're able to juggle people and throw your axe at them and solve puzzles using the axe. I completely forgot about that element of the game. I was sitting there like holding certain things. I'm like, what do I do again? I was like, oh yeah, and I threw the axe and figured it out. It's got a larger than life story that's fucking wild, so definitely play it. And yeah, I don't know really what else I can talk about because I want to talk about the story. But it's a very story centric game. It's one of those games that when people complain about PlayStation, they're like, it's a third person action game, and then they point out that game like, but that's a good third person action game.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it. So, yeah, we'll jump into impressions. Fuck, I don't even know how to go about this. So I love God of War. I think it's a fantastic game. It was my game of the year it came out. It is a pinnacle game. It is a game of its generation, of that era, of that console's generation. I think it's one of the best games on PS4, easily. The characters are amazing, and this is wild. Just to kind of illustrate for people who maybe don't follow regularly.
And this will be mirroring me as well.
Yeah,
I already know where you're going.
I'm not a God of War fan. I always appreciated the epic scale of God of War, but I've never been a big fan of it. So this God of War, being so passionate about how much I love it, is always interesting for me to hear myself say, considering I've spent most of my life not being a God of War fan. So yeah, just throwing it out there. I appreciate those games, and if you loved those back in the day, I get it. Everybody did. I just was never into it. That being said, I love the recent iteration of God of War. I think Kratos is cleverly and creatively an interesting way to carry forward the legacy of the past Kratos character into a new version of Kratos that works canonically in such a good way. He's different, but he's similar. And it gives people who might be brand new to the series a character they can like, but also works for somebody who maybe played the past games, if that makes sense. I think they did the game almost feels like a soft reboot, but it's also connected to the story of the past games, which is really interesting.
It is very intelligently, what am I looking for? The thought process on like how they were going to proceed. They
because the gameplay is different too.
100%. Yeah,
like it's still a brutal third person action game, but the older ones are like a lot more top down and like cameras all over the place and shit. More of like a of the era, run around and just fucking mash buttons and shit.
A lot more button mashy than yeah. I mean, obviously you didn't have to button mash. You could plan out your stuff, but you could also just get away with smashing buttons. And I would argue you cannot do that in this game.
Oh yeah, no, especially with the harder enemies and stuff like that. Yeah. You got to know your skills, be comfortable with them, and be smart about your combos and shit. So, yeah. Anyway, I think the way they transitioned from the old God of Wars into this God of War was very clever, very smart, and worked. Like everything that they changed that people were worried about early on, it fucking worked. Like they just nailed it. So it's like sometimes you take those risks, sometimes you nail them, and they nailed it with God of War. The characters are awesome though. Kratos is awesome. Atreus is awesome. All the other characters that they added to this one, and a lot of the ones from the past that they brought into this one, really fucking cool. Baldur is a great fucking villain. I only played like 4 hours of my new game plus, but just to kind of like remember how the game plays and stuff. But that whole beginning sequence is so fucking cool, where he shows up and you guys get wild.
Yeah, that really sets the tone for the game.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is what this game is gonna be like, and then it just gets better and better and better as you play that fucking game. It's so good, and all the characters are so good. The graphics are still really good. This is like a pinnacle game. Like back then, it was like some of the best graphics you're gonna get, especially on a console. And still on PS5, where I was playing it, it's a fantastic looking game. Animations are really good. The environments are really well made. I love the story between Atreus and Kratos, the way that blossoms. So that's a really good element of the game as well. let's see. The way that the game has exploration is really interesting. There's a lot of things to find, lots of nooks and crannies to look for, puzzles. There's an end game to the game, which is something that nobody would have asked for, but we're more better off for it.
It's hard as shit.
It's hard as fuck. Like, it's really good end game. It's definitely for the people who want to stick around and have a challenge. The world snake is fucking dope. The whole element, everything about this game I fucking love. Like, every inch of it is so good. It's hard for me to like. I can't dissect it the same way as I can dissect some of the other games we typically talk about, because like I just love every inch of this game. Everything is great about it. So it's hard for me to even fucking think about it. The end is fantastic. I'm not going to talk about that, but I remember the first time I beat it, I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good. Can't wait for the next game. I'm just like gushing about this. I'm not even like being constructive about this. Fuck, I was going to bring up something I completely forgot. Oh no. Anyway, just go into your impressions real quick, because
Sure.
yeah.
So
I'm just going to keep gushing about it.
Similarly, I could easily just gush about the game. So I mean, I guess to kind of break it down a little more, and to give my perspective as well. For the last generation of consoles, this and Ghosts of Tsushima were like the best games in my opinion.
Last of Us Part 2 as well, but you didn't play that.
I don't play those.
Yeah.
I appreciate them, but I don't play them. Yeah, like that was like peak PS4 for me. So yeah, I don't think this game has any flaws that I can think of. Like, period. I think it is like an example of a AAA game done the way they really all should be in terms of quality, not necessarily in game style, but in quality. Graphics are great. Art direction is great. The music and sound choices are great. Combat is well thought out, and you have all the tools at your disposal to handle and control the battlefield. Like, being able to like throw your axe over here, freeze this guy while you punch this guy a few times, pull your axe back, finish him off. Like, they really wanted you to be able to do that, and then like being able to have like shield play and stuff like that, and then weapon later. It's just, there's so much ability to just be this complete machine in a battlefield full of people and like be in control still. Unlike, to use Dynasty Warriors as an example again, which is going to be a weird one, that game you just like mow through like a lawnmower. You don't do that in this game. You literally, like, guy gets too close to you, go, nope, I need you to chill a second while I fight this guy, finish this guy off, type of deal, counter, dodge, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, combat's super involved.
it's really good. To the point of like, if you're having a day, like, and this happened to me a couple times playing it, where I wasn't like in the mindset to like try and play it. It's not the right game to play. In that mindset, you got to be a little more willing to be there and push more than 2 buttons to do combat. So the journey is great. I think they handle the way you actually go through the world very well. I think is a good example of why like not everything needs to be open world, because even like
Dude,
backtracking
this
through
game
this
is a great example of why everything doesn't need to be open world, because
Yeah.
it's like it's structured in a way that you're constantly going forward, but then you can go back to zones. But then the whole thing fucking, I don't want to talk about it too much because there's people out there who maybe are still playing it or whatever.
I'm trying
but
to be vague.
the whole world changes at one point, which was like blew my fucking mind. I was like, you guys went there. Like, this game feels like they didn't hold themselves back, and they literally didn't, because not to keep gushing, but like Cory Barlog talked about how what's his name, Amir, he originally
had that idea.
they were like telling him like, we can't do that, and he's like, well, but we should, it'd be cool. And they're like, that'd be so much work to have you like placing his head everywhere and him just being there. He's like, yeah, but it'd be really cool. And he said he kept just bringing it up in conversation until it happened.
But like little bits of it.
Yeah.
What if we did this?
Yeah.
And then they'd agree to it, and he'd just move it another step further,
And where other games wouldn't have the balls to do something like that, Naughty Dog would for sure. But like
Yeah.
most people are like, we're not going to do that. That's a lot of fucking work. They did it. And this whole game feels like that.
Yeah.
Like, just in how intricate it is, almost like it's not as good, but like in this regard, but like as like a Dark Souls, like how intricate and how much they pack into just a small area of exploration. They kind of follow a similar path. It's not open world, but it feels like a big fucking journey that you can kind of backtrack on if you need to.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel you might lose a couple people with that one, but yeah, I agree. No, I just thinking about how you had a comment before we tried to compare to another game, and people were like, "What? It's not like that game at all."
Yeah. Well, people got their opinions. Everyone's got their opinions, dude.
Yeah, characters are well thought out. Every character in the game, not just the main cat or people that you play as, but everyone you interact with for however small amount of time or large amount of time. Like the dwarves, for example, are some of the like most fun characters in the game.
Yeah, their dynamic was cool.
And I just love like the further you go on the journey, the more you get to experience these people and get to know more about them and the way they view the world and the people they interact with and stuff. It's just all very well thought out, well written. The voice actors did fantastic work.
Yeah, everybody.
There's not a lot of like. I honestly don't think I could present you a negative.
That's why I was having problems talking about this. I'm like, I love everything.
It is a
about
very, very good game.
Yeah.
And when you get something like this, and then people wonder why people throw fits when a AAA company makes bad games, you have AAA companies who can show you this level, but then you also have indie companies making crazy experiences, not to the same budget and scale, but they're still making these crazy experiences. And you have these other companies, mostly we'll say like EA Games is an example right now, who you can tell are just trying to make money, and it sucks, right?
Well, that's not to get on a whole like tasty cast subject, but that's something I always try to explain to people in the sense of like when we're talking about AAA, like what's the fucking point of AAA anymore? Like people have the resources and the ability to make fun games now. They might not look the best, but like people are making fun games. Especially if you're a PC player, you have so much games you can play.
Oh yeah,
from so many people that come out like every fucking other day. There's a new game coming out from just some random dude making a fucking game. AAA has a lot of manpower, a lot of resources, a lot of legacy in the industry, so they have a lot of connections, and they got a lot of fucking money. Yeah. So if these dudes, all they can present to you is good graphics, well, Unreal Engine 5 is changing that for everybody at this point. So you better fucking be able to present some good ideas that other people can't achieve. Like what are you even using that big of a team and that much money for if you're just making a good looking game that's fucking basic as shit? So anyway, just you talking about that, there are AAA companies out there who are just like, they feel behind, even behind indie. Like they got better graphics, but like they can't even make a complete game. And then you got people like Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, making like what AAA should be.
Who are showing what a AAA game,
yeah,
what we should be expecting from people. And like obviously that's a lot to put on these people's shoulders, but they also, they sign up for this job, right? To work at one of these companies to do these kind of projects. And this is the type of thing we should, and not, it doesn't have to be a third-person action adventure story-driven game. Like just in general, quality-wise, this game is the bells and whistles, and I can't wait to see Ragnarok because I wanted more the moment I finished the game. So
they showed a character from Ragnarok recently, just a real quick little gif of her or something. I was just looking at him like, that character model's fucking gorgeous looking, dude.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's so good looking. Yeah. Like it's like at the very least Forbidden West quality of like an NPC or a character model. And I was like, holy shit, dude. Like I already know the game's gonna be good, but like I'm just wanting to see more of it. But yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, my impressions is this is pinnacle PS4. So
yeah, 100%. I know we kind of just gushed too, but just to kind of fill in some of like what we did this month when we played it. I've already beaten this game before, so I had to juggle whether I wanted to start the game over again, continue where I was before, or attempt to play New Game Plus, which I know they added after I'd beaten the game. So I started New Game Plus. The game, as soon as I started, was like, hey, you can do New Game Plus. I was like, oh yeah, you guys added that. So I started New Game Plus. I only intended to play like for like an hour or two, but I kept playing because I was like, oh yeah, this game's fucking good. Like I forgot this is a good ass game. So I kept playing it, but it was really interesting because you can tell the game was not originally made for New Game Plus because I had like almost everything unlocked already. So I was really just kind of playing to play, and I had all my stuff I worked towards, which was nice.
So I said it's totally fine if you already beat in it. So
yeah, exactly. Like I've already done it. I already have my opinions on the game, but I'm glad they've added New Game Plus. I've played it. It works how it should. The tutorial in the beginning didn't tell me how to play very much again, though, so I had to figure that out as I was going, which is kind of difficult because I haven't played it since it came out.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
But I got it figured out. Oddly enough, I've never made this connection before, so this might sound almost insulting to you. Godfall's combat is inspired by God of War.
Okay.
And I had no idea until I watched a thing recently explaining that. I was like, oh yeah, it is kind of like God of War. Makes sense. It's not as good, obviously, but like it's definitely like.
I mean, I can see the notes.
Like holding this to throw something, all that kind of shit. And I was playing this. I'm like, this is like a way better playing fucking Godfall. So I thought it was kind of interesting. So bringing that up because like the buttons came back to me pretty quickly because I've played Godfall recently.
Fairly recently, yeah.
It's just funny to actually go back and play it. I'm like, they definitely were trying to replicate this, and they did a pretty good job, but they're just not. They're not as good as Santa Monica. So yeah, New Game Plus. I played that, and that was really cool. But yeah, I didn't intend on beating it again. I didn't have that kind of time. More so, I just wanted to come back, see if it's as good as I remember it being, and I'm still just as impressed. And it's a last gen game at this point, so I'm just like. Like what you said, I'm ready for Ragnarok, dude. I can't wait to play that shit. And if it comes out this year, which we haven't heard anything about it, so I can't even speculate. I would still bet next year, but if it comes out this year, dope. But yeah,
I feel like next year is more reasonable, but people keep, and not just like random people, but like people who make these guesses and stuff like that keep saying this year too. And I'm just like, is there something we don't know?
We haven't seen we've only seen one trailer, and that was early on.
I'm going to be, if they do their marketing right and they just kind of show off the completed game, all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's coming out in like 2 months. Like,
well, that would be expert level. If you can show a new trailer that's like big and epic, and people are sitting there going like, I think it's coming out this year, or I think it's coming next year, I don't know. And then you show a trailer, everybody gets really pumped, and then you're like, hey, it comes out next month. Nobody's going to complain unless the game's bad.
Yeah.
Unless they underdeveloped it.
Yeah, well, and it'd be smart for them marketing wise too, just because like, they don't need to tell people about it. Like everyone already knows what God of War is.
Yeah, so, it's going to sell like hotcakes.
We'll see.
Like,
this is all speculative, obviously.
Yeah. So that's what I did, just in case anybody was curious about it, because I know I was just sitting here just talking about that I love the game, and that's not necessarily my opinion or my impressions in June of it. So, and then you played it. Did you just continue your save before?
I just loaded it up, ran around, killed a couple things, and then shut it off. I did not put a lot of time into it because, like you said, beaten it before. I have done a little bit of the end game in the past as well. I just mostly wanted to taste a little nostalgia real quick, and then I shut it off because I knew it'd be easy to talk about it. It's not a game that's easy to. It's a game that's hard to forget. So
yeah, it's a fucking generation defining game. Yeah. So for sure. Overall, though, I think we can just kind of cut it here because we probably just keep gushing about it. So let's jump into recommendations. I feel like everybody should have played this at some point. It is one of the great games of its generation.
It has a lot of difficulty options. So.
Yeah, if you like third-person action games in any capacity, it's a must-play, in my opinion. If you like cinematic games, it's a must-play. If you've ever had an interest in God of War, it's a must-play. If you're like a PlayStation fan, you probably should have played this, so it's a must-play there. It's hard for me to say that because I like all games, but some people are like, I only play PlayStation, I only play Xbox. So if you're into that, if you're an Xbox player and you can get your hands on it and play it on PlayStation, you should play it too.
Or PC, it's on Steam.
PC as well, yeah, true. Yeah, if you didn't play it on PlayStation, it's on PC, so check it out there. I heard the port's good, so
I've watched people play it.
It's good to hear, yeah. If you like Norse mythology, there's not a game that plays with it at this quality that exists. So do yourself a favor and enjoy the fun they have with Norse mythology in this game because it's fucking crazy. It's really cool. If you like Godfall, fucking play this. It's better. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, honestly, I would say that everyone should try it, though I do recognize it as a story-heavy game, and there are people out there who do not like that.
But this does have progression and things to find. It's not just the story.
Yes, I'm just putting it out there. If cutscenes drive you crazy, then you might have an issue with this game. But I do think you should try it anyways. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to think because I think everybody should have tried it at least once, like just to see if they like it or not. It's a pretty rudimentary like action game. And
Also,
that's,
even after this month, if you have a PS5, it's part of the
yeah,
PlayStation collection, so you can play it anytime.
true. Yeah, so should we jump into grades?
Yes.
Who started this time?
I don't remember.
I did. So you go ahead and grade it.
Okay. As much as I gushed about it, I'm kind of weird when it comes to giving perfect grades, so I can't do that. But I'm going to give it a solid A. The game is phenomenal, so I have no complaints about it. I don't even honestly know where they can improve it. I'm sure they're going to show me this year or next year, but it's a solid game. I think the only thing I could even nitpick about is like some form of like wanting me to like replayability to the regard of like giving me something else to do, in the game. But I would gladly replay it if I had nothing else going on. So
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it an A+. That does not mean it's a perfect game. I don't believe in a perfect game except for Deep Rock Galactic. But the way I'm grading it, like A typically is it excels, B's good, C's okay, that kind of thing. But this game exceeds so many games. It's a top tier game, and it's just really phenomenal. It's a great game. I think they nailed everything. It's a fun game to play. It's got great characters, great music, great story, amazing graphics, amazing atmosphere. Like, this game is just a game when you let somebody make what they want to make and they got a vision and they fucking nail it. This is what you get. This is why this kind of game is rare. I know you're probably thinking it's just a third-person action game. No, there's not a whole lot of games like this on this quality. And so because of that, I have to give it an A+. It's just such a phenomenal game, and games of this quality that nail all the ideas this good while still maintaining to be a fun game are rare to this degree. So it's just one of those games that defines a whole generation of games. So it's a really good game. A+. All right, anything else? All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of God of War. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you liked it, what do you like about it? How far did you get into it? Did you do any of the end game? Did you take out any of the Valkyries? Did you do New Game Plus? I can't fucking talk to you. It's driving me crazy. If you didn't like the game, why didn't you like the game, or why didn't you play the game? Maybe this isn't your cup of tea. Maybe you only play on Xbox. Maybe you only play on something. I hear that all the time. People are like, I only do this. I'm like, that sucks. You should play everything. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on all three games that we talked about this month. But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club for June. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check out our streams and socials, link down below. Check out our Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. If you're brand new, I've been Seth, and this has been Chevy. Thanks for joining me, Chevy. Thank you for joining us. And I'm on vacation this next week, so we'll get a Game of the Month out soon. We got to figure that out. At the very latest, it'd be like Friday or something like that. I don't know. I just thought about that, but we'll figure it out. Until then, though, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.